What we mostly have on the international level, it's international human rights. But within the human rights catalogues, we have a few guarantees for minorities, which are collective rights. Because free speech, that is something you can enjoy on your own. But if it's about a culture or a language or a religion, you do it in a group. So if you're a small group, you have a guarantee, an international guarantee to speak your language, to teach your language, and to pass on your culture to the next generation. Human rights for individuals are probably the basis. And if in an ideal world, they would be sufficient. We don't live in an ideal world, and we live in states where we have ethnic diversity, which is not always peaceful. There is a lot of tension. And especially when we have a clear cultural, linguistic, ethnic majority. Democracy can be quite threatening to a small group, especially if we have a number of cleavages, linguistic, ethnic, cultural, and economic divides. There is a risk that smaller groups end up to be permanent losers. They start to disconnect from the state because they think that the state is not really theirs. Now, if they have guaranteed minority rights, not just as persons, but as a group, so this is your autonomy, this is how you can educate your children, this is how you can protect your culture, your language, your religion. You feel more comfortable within a wider unit of a state. And it's more than just having an individual right to speak. You need a group to preserve your minority language. Well, what is discrimination? It is that you are disadvantaged because of who you are. Now, if you protect minorities, you don't disadvantage majorities for who they are. You try to equalize the groups. You try to compensate the fact that smaller groups have less chances to be elected. In a democratic system, the majority wins. That's not very funny for a small group. So if you want to have an inclusive state, where all your components are represented, you have an interest to have reserved seats or guaranteed seats or a proportionate system to make sure that everyone has an equal chance to end up in government. So you have more equality and less discrimination if you try to compensate demographic imbalances.